Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're talking about the Kizuna clash against Bege and Pez. This is about to come out in about a day's time on OPTC Global, so if you guys haven't checked out my summons from last night with 3D2I, I have just posted the video as of this moment actually, so I'll leave a little card if you guys want to check it out. So in today's video, we will be talking about the stages, and I have two particular teams for you guys for each variation to take down Bege and Pez. Now, unfortunately, I am not feeling all that crash hot, so my voice is a little bit shot, so I do apologize about the audio quality, and because of that, I will only be doing two teams in this video today. But let's have a look at what the Kizuna Clash actually does. So, in the Kizuna Clash, it will run for 5 days, May 17th to May 22nd. Pretty standard. The notable features are you can get your hands on a lot of cotton candy, as well as some memorial roast turkeys, which is really, really nice for newer players. You can also get your hands on the crystal skulls to super evolve Roronoa Zoro V2, that is. And the Sakazuki and Borsalino limit break materials will also be available too, which is great. Each of the crystal skulls will be available in the Kizuna shop, so if you missed out on Blackbeard, I'd highly recommend picking him up. He's a very unique unit, and he's a lot of fun too. Luffy and Hancock will be added to the Kizuna shop too, which is great for you guys that are missing that unit. Very, very strong unit, so make sure you pick that up if you can. And enemies will have a chance of dropping more turkeys, which is excellent. So we do have some boosted characters. We do have the new Sanji Pudding. They're basically built for this Kizuna, which is great. They're a very, very good unit. Charlotte Chiffon that came out with them is amazing as well. There's the Zoro, the new 6+ Zoro, I think that is. Might just be the 6-star. I'm not quite sure. We have V2, Vivi Rebecca, and Shira Sherry. We have the new Neptune and Leo from the batch that is Vivi Rebecca and Shira Sherry, as well as Kobe and Hina, the free-to-play units that came out with them. We have Barto. I think this Barto is actually the what's his name one? The Pirate Rumble one. We also have Treasure Map Garp, Franasuke, the Halloween Kid, Basil Hawkins, the Treasure Map one, Zoro Juro, Trafalgar Law Beppo, who were from the last Kizuna. We have Shanks, Beckman, and Yasop, who were from the Kizuna before that, I'm pretty sure, as well, against Kid. So that's pretty much all about the Kizuna. Obviously, we can't bring Shiryu, Barto, all the standard stuff, you know. We can't bring those characters that just do instant kills. So let's have a look at what each stage actually does. So on the first variation, Bege is actually a strength unit. And against the strength stage of Capone, on stage 2, we come up against Monet, who's an int unit who has 2 million HP. She gives you 4 turns of special silence, and on turn 1, she gives you 3 turns of chain coefficient reduction, which is a little bit annoying. Nothing too tricky though. On stage 3, we come up against Capone. He does 99 turns of normal attacks only. He has full immunity, and he does 8 turns of bind on your left-hand column. Now that will go down to 5 turns if you have sockets, and after level 30 he does 5 turns of % damage reduction. So with the first team that I have built for you guys, we are looking at utilizing a double Sugar team. So Sugar is very, very strong, as cerebral fighters and strikers all get their cooldowns from this particular fight. There is a special stage as well, by the way, so if you come up against Law, he will have the same effects as the stage 2 boss, and if you defeat him, he gives you a 2.5 times all boost, which is really, really strong. So against Strength Capone, Cerebral Fighters and Strikers are boosted, and the first team, as I mentioned, is a double Sugar team. So Sugar's really, really good because we can pop her special on turn 1, and that way we can just take out all the turtles and stuff like that after we get our cooldowns, and we can actually carry that into the second turn against Monet. Then what we can do is we can actually use the super typing of that Sugar. That way we can take out Monet easy peasy and then move into the next stage. And once we move into the final stage against Strength Capone, we get all of our units back, and then we can actually pop our Sugar special. But we do need to get around some things before we actually do that. So, wait a second. Is that the team? Yeah, this is the team. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be utilizing, to get around the chain coefficient reduction, we actually have the Neptune. So he can remove the chain multiplier growth or reduction. He can also give us color affinity too, which is really, really good. Because our left-hand side gets binded though, we do need to actually remove that. It goes down to 5 turns. So what we want to be doing here is we're actually going to be utilizing Pudding. So Pudding will not only remove the bind by 4 turns, she will also give everyone a quick orb because we are using the support of Margaret. What we can then do is remove the rest of the bind with Robbie, and Robbie can actually remove the special silence as well. So Robbie's going to remove 3 turns of bind and special bind, which is really, really good. She also does null damage, but that's fine. Once we've removed all the bind, we can then use our Neptune special to get the color affinity. We can remove the chain coefficient reduction as well, and then we can use our Smoker special to give us a 2.5 times attack boost, which is really, really strong. Probably the most you shall ever see Smoker get, actually. Then finally we can pop our Sugar Special, and then that way we can turn everyone into bears, use our super typing, get a 2.25 times orb boost, and it'll all just work very, very well. Now, I was under the impression that the after level 30 there was a threshold, which I don't actually think there is. So I actually had this trouble to remove some threshold, and then with obviously Robbie we could remove more of it. I thought it was 5 turns of threshold, but I guess it actually isn't, which is pretty cool. So this team should work really well. We have color affinity, like I said, with Neptune. We have an attack boost with Smoker, very, very strong. We have full border orb manipulation with Pudding, as well as removing the bind, as we do lose all of our orbs as well. I think that's something that they actually didn't mention on the Discord. There might be another level 70 interrupts, possibly. Maybe that's where I did. That's where I did see it, possibly. But if that's the case, then I can easily just put that treble back on Sugar. That shouldn't be an issue at all, and if it is, we'll learn when we do our playthrough video. So onto the second team that I have for you guys against the strength variation is the bigger Quailin team. So we are using double Sanji Pudding. Again, Sanji Pudding are just absolutely amazing for this particular fight. They're very, very strong. They've got a great switchability for healing. They can be a 2.25 times color affinity booster. They're just really, really strong. What we can do is, on this particular team, we can remove the bind with Vivi and Rebecca. Vivi and Rebecca can also give us a 2 times attack and a 2 times orb boost as well as the increase our chain coefficient as well, which is really, really good. We also have Chiffon on this particular stage. Chiffon can remove bind as well, so if you have her and you don't have Vivi Rebecca, you could easily put her on the right hand side, and then that way she can actually remove the bind for you guys as well. We have Hina on this particular team as well. Hina's literally just here just because. There's no reason why Hina's actually here. I actually might change her to the Neptune, as I don't actually have a way of getting around chain coefficient reduction now that I'm actually looking at this particular team. So I think I'll probably put Neptune on this particular team as well, just so I can get around that. It's not that big of a deal getting around that. You can easily just use like a chain locker. But with this particular team, I'm actually using a chain buff mechanic with Shirishiri, giving us a full board of rainbow orbs. And with Sanji Pudding, we're getting a 2.25 times color affinity boost. So this team should have a lot of damage. This is the team that is built for Sanji and Pudding, but Sanji and Pudding is rainbow color variation, so they are going to be super effective against all types, which means their 2.25 times color affinity boost is actually a lot stronger than it actually seems. So moving on to the next team now, we are coming up against the int variation of Capone. Now against the int variation of Capone, Strength, Quick, and Psi units all get their cooldowns, which is very, very nice. On stage 2, we come up against Wapple. He has 2 million HP. He gives 4 turns of increased defense, and on death, he hits for around 25,000 HP with damage reduction sockets. So make sure you do have max damage reduction. That's definitely going to be critical. On turn 1, he blinds your crew for 3 turns as well, so you will lose your tap timing, which is a little bit annoying, but like with the amount of damage that these teams can do, unless you're getting really, really high, there's no real reason to sort of get around that, I guess. But I guess that you could probably find a sub that's immune to that. On stage 3, we come up against Capone. He has normal attacks only, full immunity. He rewinds your specials for 2 turns after preemptive. He gives you 5 turns of paralysis, and after level 30, he's going to change all of our orbs into negative orbs. So the first team I have built for you guys is actually utilizing a double Boa lead. So Boa is very, very good because she can not only roll our specials back, but she's also a 5 times captain. She has a very good super type to change orbs, so she can get around the negative orb mechanic, as well as being a healer, so you can actually heal and get basically stay alive against that 25,000 HP hit, because we are utilizing V2 Shirishiri on this particular team. Now V2 Shirishiri works really, really well because you can switch with them, get the overheal mechanic, and then that way Boa can actually heal above your max HP, and that way surviving the 25,000 is actually a lot easier than it actually seems. But if you are missing Shirishiri, you could easily just bring like a damage reduction unit, someone that can help you tank damage there. But the reason I'm bringing Shiri here is because on the final stage, I want to actually use her special to remove the paralysis as well. She also gives us a chain buff mechanic as well, which is really, really strong. I think it's the highest in the game, 1.2 added to the chain multiplier, which is really, really good. And we can actually stack that with Wano Law. Now, Wano Law is here basically to give us an orb buff, as well as start the chain multiplier at 2.5. With Shiri though, it's actually going to start at 3.7, which is just absolutely massive. What we can do on the second stage as well, we can actually use one of the super typings of our boas. That way we can actually get an attack buff for our entire crew. And with the special of Swimsuit Robin, we can actually remove the defense up easy peasy. On the final stage, we're just going to add a little bit of color affinity into the mix. So we do have Hina on this particular stage to this team as well. This team should do a lot of damage. I don't really see it having too many issues. The only issue I can see is sort of like that blindness, but Shiri actually removes that with their special, actually, now I'm thinking about it. So if you don't have Shiri, you might struggle a little bit, but I guess you could always just bring like a friend Shiri or something like that. That could also work. On to the next team now, we are using Sanji Pudding again. Sanji Pudding just really, really strong, like ridiculously strong. For this particular Kizuna, obviously they are boosted for it, but with this particular team, you could actually run something like Chopper as your leader. He just got his limit break key as well, and then you could bring a friend, Sanji and Pudding, and then that way you can actually just utilize the same team without losing too much damage. But Sanji Pudding being a 5x captain, super effective against all types, is going to make it very, very good for this particular fight. They're going to be our color affinity booster as well, which is really, really good, and they can also get back healing as well. So what we're going to do on stage 2 against Warple, we're basically going to pop both of our Sanji and Pudding specials. That way we can actually enter the 5x captain multiplier. And with my Sanji and Pudding, I actually have the support of Onami. So we're going to set the defense to 0, which means his increased defense just doesn't mean diddly squat. We have Chiffon on this particular team, provided that we a cerebral or free spirit class, we can actually extend our type effects. So the 2 turns of color affinity that Sanji and Pudding actually give us, we can actually extend that if we want to. But with this particular team, if you don't have Shiri, you might want to use Chiffon to actually remove the paralysis. On this particular team though, we do have Shiri, so they can remove the paralysis, give us a full board of rainbow orbs, and give us that chain multiplier buff, very similar to the Boa team. But with this particular setup, we've actually got Vivi and Rebecca to give us an attack and an orb boost, and that way we can actually get a chain multiplier buff as well, which can actually up our damage quite significantly. The final unit we have on this particular team is actually Shanks crew. Now, I don't really know if I'm actually going to use Shanks crew. I sort of just slipped in here because I'm not sure if the 3.5 times chain lock is actually better than the chain multiplier buff. I'll have to do a little bit of testing on that one and actually find out. But he's actually going to help out quite a bit, as we can actually use his switch ability on stage 2, just giving us a little bit more damage to actually take out Warple. So this team should not have any issues whatsoever. Getting around the negative orbs on the level 30s is covered as well, because we do have Shiri. That way we can get a full board of rainbow orbs, and we can actually get around all of the debuffs very, very easily. If there is something on like level 70, I guess I'll find out if I get that high. I don't really know if I plan on getting that high though, but we'll have to wait and see when we do our playthrough video. So moving on to the final variation now, we actually come up against the Psy variation of Capone. Against the Psy variation, he gives cerebrals, shooters, and slashes cooldown, and on stage 2, we come up against Strength Nekomamushi, the Christmas one. Again, he changes all orbs into recovery and T&D orbs. He's then going to lock those orbs, and on turn 1, he also gives 3 turns of increased damage taken. I'm not sure if that means that where it says here turn 1, if that's like after turn 1, but like I said, I guess we'll find out when we get into our playthrough video. On stage 3, when we come up against Capone, he has normal attacks only again, and full immunity, which is very annoying. He has full immunity in every single variation. He has 8 turns of despair, which will go down to 5 turns with sockets, and changes all orbs into block orbs. After level 30, he gives 5 turns of damage threshold as well, so we do need to be mindful of that when we are team building for this particular fight. So, to get around this particular fight, I am actually using Shanks, Halloween Shanks as my captain, and I plan on bringing a friend Halloween Law for the very first team. Shanks is actually really, really good for this fight. Not only is he actually boosted, but his special can give color affinities to slashes and cerebral units, as well as give us a chain buff mechanic as well, which is really, really strong. His super typing as well can actually also give set the defense to 0 for 3 turns, which doesn't matter, but can actually rotate block orbs. Now that I'm actually looking at it, do I actually have someone? Yeah, we have Mihawk on the team. We're sweet. You just need to make sure you have a way to actually pop that, whether you're using someone like the Yasup or the Ben Beckman. You can use the Ben Beckman as an orb booster if you are missing someone like Mihawk on this particular team, but Mihawk is our attack booster, and we're actually going to use him on the second on the final stage to get the attack buff, because on stage, we can actually, we want to use him on the final stage just because we do too much damage. The problem with the perfect hits is doing 3 perfects. We're probably going to kill Neko before we even get the 3 perfects. So what I plan on doing on this team is usually utilizing the Zoro, who is boosted. So he's going to turn the recovery and tandem slots into matching, and he's actually going to give us an attack boost to our slasher characters. Because he's got the 4 turns as perfect, it doesn't matter, like, we're not going to hit that anyway. So he's just going to give us an attack boost on stage 2, give us a full water matching orbs, and then we can actually move into the next turn. You can use the Shanks special here if you really want to, because Shanks gives the 3 turns of everything. It works out really, really well. On the final stage, we are going to use our Mihawk special to give ourselves an attack boost. We have Chopper here for after stage 30, where he puts up 5 turns of threshold. You could also use someone like that. Someone like the Halloween Boa, I'm pretty sure would work fairly well. Off the top of my head, there's not a lot of 5-turn threshold removers. You could use someone like the limited rare recruit Kuzan as well. That's another option for you guys. But it's a little bit tricky as you need cerebral shooters and slashes. So that's also like hinders that. The final unit I have on this team is actually Wano Law. Now Wano Law is replaceable with basically any other orb booster, but I really wanted to maximize the use of Shanks' chain buff mechanic, and the best way I thought of doing that is actually bringing a chain locker that can actually be abusing that chain buff mechanic. So our chain multiplier is going to start at 3.5 when I hit with Law, and then it's going to go up from there, which is just going to be absolutely monstrous, and it's going to help out quite a bit. Finally, we'll have the we'll have the carry over the orb buff from Law. So, sorry, don't replace Law with the orb booster. You want to replace him with someone like a chain locker. But if you really need to, you need to replace him with someone like Yasop or Ben Beckman just to get the Shanks super typing. I would highly recommend doing that if you are missing someone like the Mihawk unit. The final team of this video is actually the Sanji Pudding team. Now, once again, if you guys are missing Sanji Pudding, you could easily just make Sabo Koala your captain. And that should work absolutely fine, as we are using a full cerebral based team. And then just find another color affinity booster, or actually just replace Sanji and Pudding. That way you can actually utilize a friend Sanji and Pudding if you are missing that unit or you didn't summon. So Sanji and Pudding being the 5 times captain they are just very, very strong. You could actually easily use Halloween Shanks actually as your leader for this particular team as well, if you do have Halloween Shanks but you're missing Sanji and Pudding. They're also a 2.25 times color affinity booster. They make orbs matching. They're just such a strong unit, man. I'm really keen to take them into some of the harder content once everything sort of dies down a little bit on OPTC Global and when I get my voice back. We do have Chiffon on this particular team as well. Chiffon can actually change empty bomb, block, recovery, and tandem slots into matching, and then extends the the color affinity buff. So what would I plan on doing on the second stage against Neko? I actually want to stockpile all the orbs with Nami and Robin. That way we just get rid of those. I become Robin, and then I can use the Chiffon special to give myself a full board of matching orbs, which is going to be really, really nice. On the final stage, we're going to use the Sabo Koala special. Sabo Koala can go through the block orbs, give us an attack boost to our cerebrals. We have the color affinity with Sanji and Pudding. We have a 2.5 times orb boost with Nami and Robin. And then finally we have Gillette for a 3.3 times chain lock. The thing with Gillette is, though, you do want to make sure that your captain is a quick type. So then that way you can get the 3 times chain lock. Now, the only way we can actually get around Despair on this particular team is actually by utilizing the switch ability of Sanji and Pudding. Now, if you guys aren't using Sanji and Pudding as your captain and you need to bring a Despair remover, like I said, you could easily just do something like this, replace Sanji and Pudding with like a 5-turn Despair remover. Or if you really want to be tricky, you could also just bring someone like Halloween Law as your friend captain like I did in the previous team. But that's going to wrap this video up today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. Keep an eye out for the playthrough video that will be coming out tomorrow when the Kizuna drops. And if you are new to my channel, hit that big red subscribe button. We do upload OPTC videos every single day. Once again, guys, I do apologize about my voice. Hopefully, I'll be back up and running very, very soon. And I apologize that there was no stream today either. But wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, guys, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lights!